Hello parents, welcome to week 4. After a lot of positive feedback for the video format for the update, we are bringing you another video. We are still in our workout gear.
Elective gear.
And I may have indulged in a little wet cap hat situation because of how hot it was today after netball. So please excuse our attire. Okay, shall I start?
Yep.
I need to really think about what we did this week.
I can go ahead if you want.
Okay, you go.
So in math this week, we continued with the concepts of volume and capacity, throwing in a bit of mass in there as well. What was nice this week is that the students really worked on converting between units of length, mass, and capacity. A lot of work done with that this week, and the kids smashed it. Actually, on Tuesday, we had our PAT tests as well, so all the kids sat their PAT tests, and haven't gone through them all yet, but very, very pleasantly surprised with a lot of the results, so happy to see that. In French, we continued working on our C'est ta vie project. Essentially, the kids are picking a profession they're going to follow, a salary, yearly, monthly, and weekly. They're going to budget buying pieces of furniture, transport, food bills, electricity, that whole thing. So that's actually been a really fun activity.
It's a bit like Game of Life, isn't it? Like the board
Almost.
game.
Yeah, it's a lot more involved.
With a mathematical
and no
element.
fun wheel to spin.
No.
Yeah.
Anything else for French? No, I think that's what's been.
That's what we've been focusing on this week.
What did we do? Okay, at the beginning of this week, we explored the economic concept of oh my gosh, what did we do? Opportunity cost, which actually was quite challenging for the kids to understand, but through a range of different activities, approaching it from different ways, the kids started to really, they actually really started to grasp it, which was really, really cool to see. We did something called a line debate, which was a hit, an absolute hit. You can ask them what a line debate is. In terms of literacy, we focused on oh my gosh, what did we do in literacy this week? For reading, we did our standardised PAT test as well. I was speaking to the students a lot about how I've changed the way that we administer PAT tests, which is progressive achievement tests, for reading comprehension. Typically what we do, or historically what we've done, is we've set tests and really tried to get the kids to get really high Stay9 scores, or effectively answer pretty much all the questions correct. So we used it as summative assessment. We're now shifting away from that, and we're going to use it as formative assessment. So ideally, the test that the kids sat, we don't want them to get any more than 50% right. So we allocated them the test that we thought was at the level that the data shows us, that there are other data shows us. It doesn't even make sense, but you know what I mean. And what I've been really blown away by is how many of them, I was expecting all of them to get 50, 60%, and absolutely smashed it. And I actually skipped tests for some of our kids. So something's going right, which is fantastic. I also use that as an opportunity to talk through some test strategies or testing strategies, especially to do with answering multiple choice questions, and also the way that you can work around a question that you're unsure of, and how you can monitor your progress through a test by having a scrap piece of paper next to you. And that proved to be a really helpful strategy for a lot of them. So we did a bit of that. We then predominantly focused on adverb work this week for writing and for reading. So we examined pieces of text and identified what an adverb was. We explored how it is used, when it should be used, and also the effect that they can have. So we looked at that within the text Wild Pig and Watercress, which is the book of the film that we've been also looking at. And then we used some of the adverbs that we pulled out of that text in a written piece. We did some peer editing, and then we did some more exploration around the whole idea of specific adverbs. So the image that can be painted when you put a very specific adverb with a very specific verb, and how you can play around with that in figurative language as well. So for example, I gave a group the word fall. So if they're falling, how are they doing that? And that's ultimately what an adverb is. An adverb is just describing the doing. How are they doing the doing? And so under falling, we then broke into pairs, and we came up with a range of adverbs that could fall under that. So some said helplessly, hopefully, uncontrollably, unnecessarily, and we then spoke about what are the different scenes that you can build around those. So some students would say, I was helplessly falling, and the scene that we built up was that there was a chase and they were on the precipice they were on the edge of a cliff and they then helplessly fell over it. And then somebody else, bless him, took it figuratively and said that they were hopelessly falling in love. And so that's how we explored the pull from the literal to the figurative. And we then did some narrative-based work off that. Big week, actually. We also did character comparisons, which is the first thing that the kids have done. We started it last week. We had really good discussion. Actually, funnily enough, only in one class, though. One class really took the comparison between Hector and Ricky and really ran with it and actually broke down a lot of the cinematography elements within character building scenes and read into them and then developed and further developed their sense of the character, whereas the other class just wasn't really, it's not even that they weren't grasping it, it's just they weren't really engaged in it.
Yeah.
But then again, that could very easily have been my teaching. So that's what we've done for this week. What's on for next week?
Oh, I forgot to add, in French we also worked on our notables a little bit, so the French portion of it.
Oh, yeah.
Having chosen their notables, the students had to find 5 interesting facts, education if they had any, family, why you've picked them, what kind of question would you ask that person, why should we know about this person? So it was actually some really, really interesting stuff. Some students have picked they've all picked really interesting notables, but I am learning a ton.
Yeah. There's some that
really, really
and what's really interesting is that there's a few notables that haven't really been picked in the last couple of years, which is good.
Is that right?
Tournament time happened again. That was a hoot.
It's
almost becoming into a beast that we can't wrangle, but that's okay.
Electives was good. Electives was great, actually.
Electives was really fun.
Week.
Played a bit of netball. I got involved, which was great fun. We played like 8 games in the end, or 8 quarters, I should really say. It's so nice actually seeing the camaraderie amongst the classes, and not just classes, but all of Year 6.
Yeah, there's some really interesting pairings.
And the dynamics, I feel as though we're really shifting into like this kind of, there's still friendship bonds that are stronger than other relationships, but in terms of the way that we're talking to each other, that's changed.
Yeah.
Like I think there's quite genuine baseline respect and friendship amongst a lot of them now, which has certainly changed
more
from
than
the
we were
beginning
seeing
of the
before,
year.
for sure.
Next week, so we've got school on Monday. We're going to be tackling the narratives that we started today. We'll also be doing we'll be writing up our explanations for opportunity cost. We will be talking a little bit about a classroom economy that we've got set up in the English classroom. And we'll be doing an HRLTP on another portion of the text to really break down. We're actually going to be looking at the skills saying questions to text answers, which means the students need to form questions that the piece of text that I've given them answers, and we explore the different types of questions that you could ask.
In math, we're going to be looking, again, still at units of measurement when it comes to capacity and volume, but more complex word problems, actually. So I'm really, really excited to see how that goes. I think a lot of the kids are grasping the concept of conversion, but throwing it in a word problem, it's a whole new beast. And then in French, we'll be continuing our work on C'est ta vie project, so more of the IU and more of the stuff on the notables, I think. Yeah.
I think the point that we should probably make about the profession, about the c'est la vie,
C'est ta vie.
C'est ta vie, is that some students are mucking around and wasting time on picking their profession.
Yeah,
they're not going to have any more time in class.
Yeah.
So they need to make sure that they've got their profession and arguably a very clear understanding of what their salary is going to be, so then work can continue. So as for something to be done at home, you could ask as to whether they've got their profession sorted.
That'd be great, actually, yep.
That would be really good. Homework was set out late this week, but we compensated by not posting any French. There are 3 maths activities and ongoing work on the notables. I think that's it.
Pretty good.
I think that's it.
Week 5 was a hit.
Week 5, well, it's week
Week
4.
four.
Week 5 will be a hit.
Week 5 will be a hit. Week 4
yeah,
was
it'll be
a hit.
great. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.